You know, as Americans, we put a lot of stake in how we're, all about the frontier, and we have the frontier spirit. All that kind of stuff is kind of like in the history books now. But I think there is a group of individuals in America, they still have that innate sense of going somewhere where it's a bit rough and making a go of it. And that's kind of what I'm doing. Where else better to bust out than in Africa? It has incredible potential, relatively untouched. Just look at South Sudan. A country the size of Texas has literally less than 200 kilometers of pavement. Virgin territory. So yeah, Africa is the last Wild West.
My name's Tim Freccia. I'm an Africa-based documentary photographer and filmmaker. I've been working in Africa for about 25 years, covering conflict and crisis. While the U.S. economy is headed south, I've been on this side, watching as young Americans come to Africa to seek their fortune. When I first met Ian Cox, he was a small-time hustler operating out of Rumbek in Sudan.
For about 4 years, I had an electronics shop in the middle of South Sudan. A place called Rumbek, probably the shittiest place in the world to do business.
I've watched him develop from selling CD players to the natives into a major player.
Should be 2,500, right?
No, the lady who quoted me quoted you. It should be 6,000 plus VAT. That's the standard rate.
That's the standard rate?
Yes, for fitting any extra.
Because I think I even got a quotation. I got
2,500, yes.
I got a quotation for
like,
not from her though.
For somebody else?
Yeah. So two different people gave me that same price.
2,500?
Yeah. My friend Tim had a Land Cruiser in Juba that he needed to sell. And with my mailing list, I advertised it and sold it. And then from there, one of the biggest armed security companies in South Sudan contacted me to provide 11 new Land Cruisers for a project they were just starting, which I did, and then it's kind of flowed on from there.
Ian had been contacted by a company that had just landed a big demining contract in South Sudan for the United Nations. After decades of in the mostly Arab Muslim North and mostly black Christian South, in 2005, the Bush administration successfully brokered an agreement ending the major conflict and creating separation and autonomy for the South. This led to a referendum in 2010 and independence for South Sudan in 2011. Despite its new status as a nation, South Sudan is still considered by some to be part of Sudan, which has long been on an embargo list for state-sponsored terrorism.
We can't even quote for a truck going to South Sudan.
Even though it's no longer part of Sudan?
Yeah, it's still embargoed as a country.
This embargo makes it nearly impossible to import anything that could be considered military equipment, even those subcontracting to the UN. This is where Ian's years of experience navigating the murky, political, and social waters of Africa comes into play.
Okay, all right. So basically, this shouldn't be an issue.
He's been contracted to move a convoy of military-grade vehicles from South Africa to South Sudan across 7 countries in 30 days.
On the 10th of December, they said, please get down to Joburg. The trucks are ready to roll. We need to get this thing on the road and try to get it done in 3 weeks. We should be planning to move off to Johannesburg, let's say tomorrow morning.
I'm working one day down in the Mara. I get this call from Ian Cox, and he's like, dude, we're getting ready to do this wicked awesome road trip from South Africa to Sudan. You in, man? Can you drive a big truck? And I said, I can do it. I'm your man.
When you're in the right wing, you're in the right thing.
Jared's a good-natured redneck raised in Tanzania by missionaries. Despite his upbringing, he seems like an old-fashioned Southern hick to me.
Romney should be president.
Really?
Actually, I take that back. We need to bring back Bush.
Me and Tim and Ian jump on a plane to Joburg and start looking at the equipment we're supposed to take to Sudan.
They bought trucks sight unseen from a guy in South Africa. The guy assures TDI that the trucks are in good shape and ready to roll.
It was kind of scary. It wasn't really what we were expecting. The equipment, the trucks were in pretty shoddy condition.
You guys are low budget, huh? Yeah.
We'll be doing some work on that exhaust pipe right there. I mean, you can for sure tell this thing has done its time in the trenches.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to baby this thing up to Sudan. Good thing I brought my toolbox. But we need to put some tread on this thing if we're gonna be able to get up to Sudan with it. There's just no way around it.
Paperwork wasn't ready. Trucks were in an atrocious state.
Up to Juba, I think realistically you're looking at a month minimum. And that's with trucks running good and not spending more than a few days at each border.
And my gut feeling is these two trucks are gonna cause an issue.
Jared only has 3 weeks until he has to leave for another job, so it's essential that we get on the road ASAP.
Hello. How you doing? Good.
Morning, Clint.
We finally meet Clint, a sleazy used truck salesman who's supplying TDI with the vehicles for the convoy. He told them the trucks were ready, but they clearly aren't.
As far as I can gather, they booked it in for Tuesday morning to go.
Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, Monday's a holiday.
Fine, but Tuesday. I mean, we were talking about.
So they won't do it sooner than that.
Because I mean, I've come down. I wouldn't have brought Jared down a week in advance and paid his salary as a driver unless
I don't blame you, but
I've been here since Monday. You know.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So.
Clint is telling me Tuesday afternoon's the earliest. I'm going to put pressure on Clint. You put pressure on Clint to see if it can happen.
With Christmas rapidly approaching, Clint disappears on us and we're left to manage repairs with his mechanics.
We're gonna fucking be here for Christmas, man. It could be worse, but I want to get this show on the fucking road.
The tire will come today. I'll put today.
You'll put today, yeah?
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Okay. All right.
This thing's a pain in the ass to accelerate with. It's like you have to stand on the accelerator to go anywhere. So stuck up.
You don't have a brake. This truck is very good.
It needs time. Now I'm under pressure. I'm under pressure from.
It's insane, dude. The delays we're experiencing, it's just crazy. I mean, looks like we're not going to even be headed out to the border until Tuesday or Wednesday next week. That puts a big hurting on us as far as timelines go.
Meanwhile, Ian has money issues with his client. He's going out of pocket.
I mean, they haven't actually made any payment on any of these movements for this convoy, which shouldn't be a problem. They just need to do it today.
I'm down here. Sure, it's disappointing. I arrived with a driver, and you know, if the driver has to wait 2-3 days, you know, not such an issue. And I'm also doing what I feel is probably a little bit of, you know, extra run around and work and pressurizing and kind of being your eye on the ground. That's not really part of what I'm quote supposed to be doing. And it's not like I'm going to sit here and say, hey, Hugh, I need a bunch of extra money. But I think it'd be fair, you know, if I can at least cover my extra living expenses and at least my...
On New Year's Day, the timeline is completely shot. We should have been in Juba by now. Still no money, and now we've lost Jared.
So long story short, we spent a month in Joburg. My initial driver had to fly back because of timing. So I brought in another driver from the States who came highly recommended by Jared.
You know, we'd love to have you. The catch is, I need somebody on the ground. I need you here on the ground in Johannesburg by Wednesday.
Alright, sounds good. I am very excited and look forward to making this happen.
See how this thing smells. I think this thing will work. I don't know, I heard rumor that Jared said it was a biohazard. It's okay, I drink the water straight out of the rivers in Appalachia. I hadn't got sick from that, I won't get sick from a mattress, I bet.
Final paperwork for the final vehicle didn't come through until a month after they said it would be ready.
And we're free to hit the road.
Start it up, get on the road here, and finally move out of Joburg. It's the day. Today is the day.
problems arise before we're even across.
What do you think I should do? Should I tell them the hard reality about this trailer? I mean, these stands being like less than 2 inches off the ground. We're going to South Sudan, like that. They have to change this.
Yeah.
For South Sudan.
For South Sudan.
Yeah.
Well, even the bumps we have here, this thing will rip off.
Yeah, definitely it will rip off.
Yeah.
Hey, just come. From what I've seen with the weight of this dozer on this trailer and driving yesterday, empty. The brakes yesterday were barely good enough to call acceptable for it running empty. With this much weight on it, this is going to be a sketchy ride. These brakes are not going to cut it.
All right.
We cut the trailer's stands down to make sure they don't drag, and press on towards South Sudan with a new harsh deadline of January 31st. Ian's still waiting for his money, and we have more than 5,000 kilometers of Africa to cross in less than 30 days.
Yeah, we're in Lusaka, Zambia with the last truck and the shittiest truck. Some old South African built Nissan that's been in an accident before. It's full of fiberglass and Bondo and shit. And there's also no wipers and no horn, which need to get fixed before we get to Tanzania, because Tanzania traffic cops have nice perky white hats and they're fucking on point and don't let anything get past. Okay, well, give me a total price.
Total price, just make 300.
Everything. Como? Okay, we're going to get fuel. He's going to go with you up to border. Me, I have to go one night Nairobi, come back, then I come behind.
We're supposed to go be as a convoy. You know, I was supposed to be managing it hands-on throughout the entire thing. I never really got to properly be with the convoy.
Ian's other business calls and he leaves the convoy, leaving me to wrangle the drivers and the boarders. The driver we all ended up calling Mongo drew the short straw and had to drive the crappy tanker. I arrived in Zambia to the Tanzanian border. In addition to the usual breakdowns, we don't have enough fuel. I assure him that we do. I meet up with Ray in the scummy border town of Tunduma. He's been stuck there for 5 days.
Right now we're on the Tanzania side of the border. Truck's impounded. We've got a $2,000 fine, 3.3 million Tanzanian shillings. We've got our clearing agent scrambling. We've offered him a hefty sum if he can get this sorted out today and we can get back on the road. It's the length.
Length.
The length, not the height, but the length. From the front of the truck to the
okay.
rear of the trailer.
Okay.
They say it's only 17 meters, but it's 18.7.
It has to be 17.
It has to be 17. Law says 17.
17.
If it's greater than 17, that needs a special permit from Dar es Salaam.
Still out of pocket, Ian wires money for the fine and the permit, while Alex assures us that the necessary documents will be processed, putting us back on the road tomorrow. Alex returns with bad news.
There's no one there. No one who can send it because there's no one there in Dar es Salaam. There's no one.
So you're telling me there's no one there today, no one there tomorrow, no one there Sunday? It has to be in South Sudan, January 30. Today is the 25th, that's 5 days. We wait Saturday, Sunday, that leaves me 3 days to go from here to South Sudan. It's not possible.
No, can we go again there? You try to explain it.
Yeah, I'm trying to get this permit.
Yeah, okay, good.
But no one is helping me. They say the office in Dar es Salaam is closed.
Yeah,
Today's
it's
a holiday.
closed, yeah.
They say tomorrow it's closed.
Yeah, sure.
They
Until
say
Monday.
Sunday's closed.
Yeah, until Monday. Yeah, so you have to wait.
And that's why I'm here. I'm asking you, do you know anybody who can help this?
Okay, let me ask somebody. Sudan.
No luck. We'll have to wait out the next few days in Tanzania and hope to make up time on the road.
My confidence was very shaky at that point. And being on my own and kind of realizing, yeah, I am on my own. I'm going to be on my own this whole journey. It's time for me to own up to it and just do it.
Alex, this is Ray. Do you have the permit? Do you have the document? When will I have the document? Are you saying 30 minutes? Are you saying 1 hour? Tell me the truth. Okay, well, I expect a call from you in 30 minutes. This is ridiculous. This guy doesn't have a clue what he's doing. He's jerking us around trying to get us for more money. He's got our permit, but it's just a scan. Take it over there. The guy looks it over. No issues there. Stamps it, signs it off. But here's the issue. It's only good for this weighbridge. Each weighbridge you're supposed to leave a copy with. We've got 6 more to go through. I guess Alex has this guy coming from Dar es Salaam driving through the night that has the original. So, let's go.
What's the guy's name?
What's the guy's name?
You don't know. You still don't know.
Looks like we're rolling. Gonna get out of Tunduma here. Just over 3,000 kilometers. Have another 2,500, maybe 3,000 kilometers to go before we reach South Sudan.
Started just pushing it, covering good mileage.
How you feeling, Ray?
It's good to be on the road.
And in doing so, you're on narrow roads and you just gotta roll with it.
Where is your escort now?
I am told no escort required.
Why?
Because it's only long, it's not wide or tall.
Okay, can go.
Thank you. We got through that one.
What would take maybe 5 days at most in the US ends up taking weeks in Africa, where we experience a police checkpoint every 50 kilometers or so.
Where are you going?
Juba.
Juba. You are taking a picture. Why?
Why not?
Why?
Why not?
Have a good day.
I tell you, man, these police, you never know when they're gonna say stop or wave you on. It's like stop and go, you never know.
Alex's courier finally catches up with the original permit and the rest of the documents.
Okay, I'll see you when you get here. Very good. As good as what we need. Thank you. Let's go. I come back in the morning and all my fuel is there. It's all good.
Yeah.
You're gonna keep the criminals away.
Okay.
No problem.
No problem. Okay, so 10 minutes, no problem. It's right there. I want to go.
We're just past Iringa, probably 50 kilometers. On our way to Morogoro, we're dropping down into this valley, this gorge here. There's got to be an accident or something up ahead. That was a lot of fun, actually. I like a little chaos, a little squeeze, a little tight fitment, the sharp drop off and windy curves. It's a lot of fun. Where's the? Sudan, South Sudan, South Sudan. Okay, there you go. Thank you, sir. You have a good day.
Along with the continuous police stops, we witness a steady stream of truck wrecks. Most of them flipped over, and many clearly fatal.
If you don't know how to think outside the box, if you don't know how to remedy something, even if it's with baling wire, duct tape, or zip ties, you're screwed. Africa has rough roads. It's not the easiest terrain, and you don't have a mechanic every couple kilometers that'll hook you up. You just gotta do it yourself. Our front diff on the 2 drive axles has gotten really hot. We've had a slight leak the whole way. See that it's smoking. We'll have to let it cool down for an hour or 2. Juakali. It's the only way to survive in Africa when driving a vehicle.
Juakali is Swahili for shade tree mechanics, an old-fashioned American concept.
Stop!
Do whatever it takes to keep it rolling.
Yeah, running down muddy African roads, we've lost our exhaust, so now we put it back on. Should be good to go. But we've had an oil leak on this truck ever since we started, and now I'm really hating it. Loose universal joints, oil leaks, a differential that was on its last leg. You want a truck in Africa, you've got to stand tall, you've got to bring your A game, you've got to fight for it. You've got to know how to haggle, you've got to know how to push, you've got to know how to get a fair price. How much? Yeah, that should be enough. Man, it was a struggle to keep it going.
With our second deadline nearly blown and over 500 kilometers to go, Ian still hasn't been paid, so he uses this as leverage and holds the convoy hostage in Kampala.
Kind of had to play hardball at one point with the client because they owed us a ton of money for driver's wages, accommodation, and all our expenses. So I had to tell them, listen, we're not going to move any further until we get that money paid in today. And they were a bit uppity on that, but they paid by the end of the day. So we kept moving.
You have a chicken?
Yes.
Got bananas? Yes. Very good.
Meanwhile, we discovered the reason our pal Mongo's been having problems with fuels because he's been selling it from his tank to the locals along the route for extra cash. Luckily, Ian's able to get Jared back for the remainder of the trip.
It's good to see you, man.
Looks like you've been having some chaos.
Oh, yeah. Good chaos.
Glad to join back up with you guys again. This looks like
Jared shows up. It's like guy who I was supposed to spend like the whole time on the road with, but hadn't seen him yet in Africa.
Mongo gets fired, and as the day wears on, we make repairs to the beater that Jared has inherited.
Does it run?
So we're all wondering.
With roughly another 600 kilometers to go and a week behind schedule, we get some much-needed sleep and hit the road at 3 a.m. the next day, on the last stretch for South Sudan.
This Toyota truck, I mean, just barrels full speed into the back of Ray's trailer. Thing was flying like a bat out of hell.
Out of the middle of nowhere, just full speed ahead, slammed into the back.
That guy's damn lucky to be alive. It's lucky there wasn't any passenger to cut him in half.
You are lucky, my friend.
I'm lucky.
You're lucky to be alive.
Without the angel.
The driver of the truck that hit Ray was drunk. I mean, he was stumbling around with the smell of alcohol in his breath. Liquor bottles falling out of his truck. So, you know, we kind of like told the police, hey, you know, this guy's drunk. You know, you might want to do something about it. Like, you know, it's kind of a hazard.
We're going to release him for treatment?
Yeah, I want him to go for treatment.
So he's free to go. The drunken driver of the guy that hit us is free to go. And you're going to take us to the station.
Together with him, but of course let him first go and get him.
Huh?
This guy should, you know, receive a few consequences, you know, for his actions. And they're like, oh, no, you know, we're going to release him for now and we'll investigate it later.
I'd like to have him tested for alcohol now. While he's still drunk.
The machines are in the office there.
Uh-huh. But you understand, the longer you wait to test him, the more sober he becomes.
All good machines nowadays, they're very effective.
No.
They're good.
Get drug off to the police station, and That was a circus. Wow. You know, we go in there and automatically the police start making up their own version of what happened, even though they weren't even there. We're not really that worried about it because all throughout the police station, there's like these bundles, huge bundles of police statements. They scribble down the statement on this piece of paper, and it goes into a stack just around the police station, like old tombs. And there's like an inch of dust sitting on top of all of them.
This guy filled my heart with rage.
How are you?
Hello.
You're walking in the water.
No,
no, it's okay.
Yes, they're good.
No. No. I am being lifted by it's okay. I think his ears are cold. No. I tell the guy the victory belongs to the Lord, and he starts picking me up like I'm his Christ or something.
Fortunately, there was like kind of a break in the firestorm. We get the license back, and we don't hesitate. We like are out the door, in the trucks, and out of there before these guys get a chance to change their mind or come up with anything else.
I'm technically in a gray area as far as the court system and what will actually happen to me and what record there is in Uganda of that incident.
Paranoid out of my mind from dealing with that accident. Now I'm in heavy traffic. You got guys up here on bodas falling over sideways because they can't keep their shit together. And my truck's like on the verge of like catastrophic failure. It's been one hell of a day. TIA. The pressure of being on the road for 50 days is finally getting to me. I'm at the verge.
Just over, we stop for a bite to eat. While assessing both rigs, we find a massive leak.
The front axle, it's sprung a pretty hefty leak.
We powwow and call Ian to give him an update and options.
These trucks, I mean, are, you know, hanging on a thread. I mean, the next thing they're going to need is a tow truck. Last night we put in 10 liters and went 200 kilometers, and it was like it got showered in gear oil into there. I mean, we can keep always adding, it just costs money. Let me talk it over with the guys and get their opinion on that.
I mean, we could always get like a drum of oil and just like mount it on top of the trailer and run a hose in there, just let it slowly feed into the diff as we're going down the road.
You mean like an IV?
Like an IV, I mean.
You know, I have heard from sources that bananas are
bananas?
Bananas are a good remedy for jacked up diffs. It works as a grease.
How long have you been in Africa, Jared? Because I think you're turning into an African. Stuffing bananas in the differential for lubrication.
You guys thought I was joking about this banana thing. I'm serious. Like, it really works. Should we go into the market and see what the cost is?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go see what bananas are going for. You know where I can buy bananas? No.
Not selling. Okay. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20.
You know where we can get bananas?
Bananas we get in town. Okay.
He's a good guy. All I want is bananas. Can I get all of them? How much?
6 pounds.
What? You said they're 2 pounds each. 3 pounds each. No, I'll give you 2 pounds each.
1 is 2 pounds.
Yeah, 1 is 2 pounds. Yeah, so if there's 16 times 2 is 32 pounds. Why would I give you 50 for 32 pounds? You tried to cheat me first. That was your mistake.
Hey, Mom. 1 pound for one. Okay. Yeah, all of them. I want all of them. So this is it right here is a good example. This diff right here on this guy's rig. What happens when your diff starts going out and you don't put bananas in it? This diff is shot. You can see all the teeth are busted off. You know, you don't want to end up like this guy out in the middle of nowhere. This guy's pretty much SOL.
So we pulled the axle shaft out, stuffed a bunch in there, put the axle shaft back in, and we're good to go. Chiwakali, my friends. Good old African bush mechanics. Good idea Jared brought up.
After a long day of making deals with swindling banana brokers in the hot Sudanese sun, we hop on motorbikes and go for a fishing expedition on the Nile.
Let's get a move on. Let's go have some fun today.
Hit the Nile, do some swimming, some fishing. I'm down with this. For the most part, countries in Africa, people are pretty friendly, always eager to make friends with you and to be hospitable.
I think she thinks you're going to be lucky if you get one.
South Sudan's a whole different story.
This lady doesn't look happy.
Hmm?
The one that just walked up.
Yeah? Unhappy?
Okay. Tell them if we catch the fish, we'll give them. We don't want to keep it.
We were told by the commander in Nimule, Arop. Yeah, that it's okay. We can go and
Galop is not the right office.
I know, but he's the big man.
We have allies. George Bush was the best friend of your late leader.
We understand.
Before you know it, we're surrounded by a bunch of these dinkas that are like, hey, check out the white boys. Let's see if we can push them around a little and see what we can get from them. They're threatening to kill us, tie us down.
There was a couple AK-47s present, guys telling us that if they wanted to, they could definitely injure us, if not kill us, telling us that we shouldn't be in their country.
So, hey! With the situation rapidly deteriorating, I make a call to a Sudanese military friend and it cools down. They finally agree to let us leave.
This may be Africa, but it smacks a lot of the Wild West, the era of cowboys. And I kind of feel like a cowboy, you know, just riding on, doing my own thing.
All right,
I think this next part of the journey, it's time for me to bring out my spurs and kick this buffalo into high gear. It's been a long trip. I've been dealing with grease, dirt, sweat, not hot showers every night. This is Africa and the load goes forward. We keep moving.
One last stop for some Chiwakali banana bush mechanics, and we approach the final stretch of our journey. After nearly 2 months on the road and more than 5,000 kilometers later, we park the trucks and hand the keys over to the client.
It's been 55 days of interesting travel. It's been hell. I don't think there's been any heaven, but it's over now.
The final highlight, actually reaching Juba, the final destination.
Looks like this is the end of the road for us today.
trucks will be here until they get cleared into Juba. Who knows how long that will take. And then should be free to move back to Kenya today. Pretty excited.
My next move is to move up to northeastern Kenya, near this refugee camp. There's like 1 million refugees scrambling for clean water. I mean, the water they do have is like contaminated by animals or sewer or waste. I got a real burden to go up there and help these people that are suffering.
After witnessing decades of conflict and crisis in Africa, it's refreshing to me to see a new breed of American workers striking out to find their fortunes in this last Wild West. But there's an abundance of land and resources here, and despite a lot of corruption and red tape, a lot of opportunity.
It's rough, and there's a lot of bullshit we have to deal with in this kind of business and in the places we operate. But the rewards can be fun and heartbreaking at the same time.
In comparison to what little America has to offer young entrepreneurs, with the right kind of determination, there's plenty of adventure and ultimately money for America's new frontier.
So yeah, Africa is the last Wild West. It's virgin territory.